Good day, ma'am. I'm Aslane Ampaso from Section D in CA200, and this is my report for Module 3, Concise History of the Bureau of Correction. So, Institutional Agency of the Philippines. Correction in the Philippines started during pre-colonial times. It was, however, organized on individual community basis. It was only during the Spanish regime when a organized corrective service was made operational. So, correction of the Philippines established during pre-colonial. And while they were in prison, they had activities of those times such as planting, corrections, seek to place offenders in the community while they serve their sentences. These types of programs frequently allows the offenders to engage in work or even school during their prison term. When the American took over the 90s, the Bureau of Correction was created under the Reorganization Act of 1905, Act number 1407, date November 1, 1905. So Bucor was previously known as the Bureau of Prisons, and the Old Bilibid is known as the New Bilibid. New Bilibid. The seven penal institution, namely New Bilibid Prisons, Correctional Institution for Women, Iwahig, Davao, San Ramon, and Civilian Prisons and Penal Farms, and the Leyte Regional Prisons. The main penitentiary was the Old Bilibid Prison in Orqueta Street, Manila, which was established in 1847 pursuant to Section 1708 of the Revised Administrative Code. It was formally opened by a royal decree in 1865. About 4 years later, on August 21, 1869, the San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City was established to confine Muslim rebels and reclusion political prisoners opposed to the Spanish rule. On June 25, 1865, the Old Bilibid Prison, the first national penitentiary in the country, was established in Manila under a Spanish royal decree. It was divided in two sections: the carcel section housing 600 inmates and the presidio accommodating 527 prisoners. About 7 decades later, due to increasing population and crime rate, Commonwealth Act number 67 was enacted and the New Bilibid Prison in B was constructed in Muntinlupa, Rizal in 1936 with a budget of 1 million and initial land area of 551 hectares. So when the America took over the 1990s, the Bureau of Prison was created under the Recognition Act of 1905, Act number 1407, date November 1, 1905, as an agency under the Department of Commerce and Police. It also paved the way for the establishment of San Ramon Prison in 1907, which was destroyed during the Spanish-American War. On January 1, 1915, the San Ramon Prison was replaced under the auspices of the Bureau of Prison and started receiving prisoners from Mindanao. The area was expanded to 41,007 hectares by virtue of Executive Order number 67 issued by Governor Newton Gilbert on October 15, 1912. Other penal colonies were established during the American regime. On November 27, 1929, the Correctional Institution for Women was created under Act number 3579, while Davao Penal Colony in Southern Mindanao was opened on 1932 under Act number 3732. The CIW was founded to provide separate facilities for women under offenders and to cater to their gender difference. So prison, the old prison was transformed into a receiving center and a storage facilities for the for farm produce coming for the colonies. It is presently abandoned and under the jurisdiction of the Public Estates Authority. The Bureau of Prison was renamed Bureau of Corrections under the new Administrative Code of 1987 issued on November 23, 1987 and Proclamation number 495 of the President. It is one of the attached agencies under the supervision and control of the Department of Justice. So, let's proceed to the Code of Kalansiaw. So, Article 1. You shall not kill, neither shall you steal, neither shall you do harm to the aged lest you incur the danger of death. All those who infringe this order shall be condemned to death by being drowned in the river or in boiling water. So those who violate the law of this Code of Kalansiaw, for example, for those who kill, those who will steal, and those who will harm, those ages will be put on death. They will put on death through drowning on the water or boiling water. So Article 2. You shall obey. Let all your debts with the headman be met punctually. He who does not obey shall receive for the first time 100 lashes. If the debt is large, he shall be condemned to thrust his band in boiling water thrice. For the second time, he shall be beaten to death. So those who does not follow or obey, especially also those who have debt, in this headman will be punished through boiling water, or if this will happen and second time around, they will be put to death. So this Code of Kalansiaw, before this was be established way back before, as the law that should be followed by the people, because if not, they will be punished for their violation of the law. Article 3. Obey you. Let no one have women that are very young, nor more than he can support, nor be given to excessive lust. He who does not comply with, obey, and observe this order shall be condemned to swim for 3 hours for the first time, and for the second time to be beaten to death with sharp thorns. So those who does not let no one have women that they are very young, nor more than he can support, nor be given to excessive lust. So those are the person who cannot support this woman, would be, especially when it comes to the excess law of sexuality, will be condemned to swim for 3 hours in the first warning, but this has been done in second time, they will be beaten to death through the use with these sharp thorns. So let's proceed in Article 4. Article 4. Observe and obey. Let no one disturb the quiet of the graves. When passing by the caves and trees where they are, give respect to them. He who does not observe this shall be killed by ants or beaten to death with thorns. So during those times, they should obey and observe silence when passing by the caves and trees, because this will show us our respect to them. But if you will not follow or disobey this law of them, you will be punished, which you will be killed through ants, or you will be beaten to death with thorns. So Article 5. You shall obey. He who exchanges for food, let it be always done in accordance with his word. He who does not comply shall be beaten for 1 hour. He who repeats the offense shall be exposed for 1 day among ants. So those who will not comply with this will be beaten for 1 hour. If this will happen again, or he will not comply again with this accordance, he will be exposed for 1 day among ants. So let's proceed in Article 6. You should be obliged to reverse sites that are held in respect, such as those of trees of recognized worth and other sites. He who fails to comply shall pay with 1 month's work in gold or in honey. So those who does not follow this rule, which you need obliged to revere sites that are held in respect, such as those trees. When you violate this article law of Code of Kalansiaw, you will be paying the offense. You may through 1 month if you work in gold or in honey. So Article 7. This shall be put to death: he who kills trees of venerable appearance, who shot arrows at night at old men and women. He who enters the houses of headmen without permission, he who kills a shark or a stray caiman. So those who violate the law code of Kalansiaw will be put to death when you kill trees, when you shoot arrows at night. To those old men and women, if you enter the house of the headman without permission, or if even you killed shark or a stray caiman, you will be put to death as a way, or it is served as a punishment for you if you violate this. So let's proceed in Article 8. Slavery for a certain period of time, shall be suffered by those who steal away the woman of the headman, by him who keep ill temper those that bite the headman, by him who burns the fields of another. So you should not still obey the woman of the headman. Article 9. All this shall be beaten for 2 days, who sing while traveling by night, kill the manual, tear the documents belonging to the headman, are malicious liars, or who mock the death. So this version or individuals will be beaten for 2 days if they violate this. Like for example, those who sing at night while traveling by night, kill the manual, tear those important documents of the headman, those malicious liars, and those who mock the dead, they will be punished by beaten for true to says. So Article 10. It is decreed an obligation that every mother teach secretly to her daughter matters pertaining to lust, and prepare women when they catch them in the act of adultery. Whoever shall disobey shall be killed by being cut to pieces and thrown to the caimans. Article 11. This shall be born who by their strength or cunning have mocked at and escaped punishment, or who have killed young boys, or tried to steal away the women of the elders. Excuse me. So this person will be punished by burning them. Article 12. This shall be drawn all who interfere with their superiors or their owners or master, all those who abuse themselves through their lusts, those who destroy their anitos idols by breaking them or throwing them down. So this person who commit this offense will be drawn. Article 13. All this shall be exposed to ants for half a day who kill black cats during a new moon, or steal anything from the chief or occurrence, however small the objects may be. So those person who commit like killing the black cats during the new moon, or they steal anything from the chip, whatever, if it is small, this object may be shall be exposed to ants for half a day. So article 14, this shall this shall be made slave for life who have beautiful daughters and deny them to the sons of chief, and with bad faith hide them away. So those parent who will hide their daughter or deny the sons of chiefs, they will be punished for slave for life. They will become a slavery for the rest of their life if they commit this kind of offense. So article 15, concerning beliefs and superstitions, this shall be beaten who eat the deceased flesh of beasts which they hold in respect, or the herb which they consider good, who wound or kill the young of the manual or the white monkey. So those who have concerning beliefs and superstitions small be beaten. Next is article 16, the finger shall be cut off of all those who break idols of wood and clay in their alangans, alangans and temples, of those who destroy the dagger of the Tagalons, or break the drinking jars of the Leyte. So those person who will break those idols of woods or the temples, or destroy the tagalons, or break the drinking jars of the lot later, their finger will be cut off as a punishment for their offenses. So article 17, this shall be killed who profane sites where idols are kept, and sites where are buried the secret things of their devatas and headmen. He who performs his necessities in those places shall be born. So they should not go to the sites where their idols are kept, or even the sites where are buried the sacred things of their devatas and headmen, because it is sacred, and they should not go there to perform any necessities, because they will be killed through burning them. So last article 18, those who do not cause these rules to be obeyed, if they are headmen, they shall be put to death by being stoned and crushed, and if they are agorans, they shall be placed in rivers to be eaten by sharks and caimans. So those who do not obey the code of Kalanshao shall be put to death. So in all, before there are 18 articles code of Kalanshao, this serve as the law that is being implemented in order for those persons way back before. They need to obey and follow these rules in order to prevent their self-engaging punishment and offenses, because once they committed such violation of the law, this code of Kalanshao, there is punishment that they will facing. So So let's proceed now in 7 institutional correction of the Philippines. So first is the New Bilibid Prison. In Muntinlupa, Metro Manila is the main insular penitentiary designed to house the first prison population of the Philippines. It is maintained by the Bureau of Correction, or known as the Bucor, under the Department of Justice. As of May 2018, the NBP housed 26,877 convicted criminals. In 1940, prisoners were transferred to the NBP from the old Bilibid prison, also known as Carcel, while Presidio Correctional Spanish for correctional jail, and military prison. In Manila, the remnants of the old facility was used by the city of Manila as its detention center, known today as Manila City Jail. So due to increasing crime, the Commonwealth government enacted Commonwealth Act number 67, and a new prison was built in Muntinlupa on a 254.73 hectare, 629.5 RC, and land in an area considered at that time to be remote. Muntinlupa, then a municipality in the province of Rizal, is several miles southeast of downtown Manila, near the shores of Laguna de Bay. So these are the pictures of the New Bilibid prison. So number 2 is San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm. According to historical accounts, the San Ramon Prison was established in southern Zamboanga on August 21, 1870. Through a royal decree promulgated in 1869, it was established during the tenure of Governor General Ramon Blanco, whose patrol sent the prison was renamed after the facility was originally established for prisons convicted of political crimes. So, San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm, located in Zamboanga City, founded by Captain Ramon Blanco of the Spanish Royal Army. It was established for the confinement of Muslim and political offenders. Established on August 21, 1869, it is the oldest correctional facility in the country, as an area of 1,246 hectares, with the principal product copra. Secondary product is such as rice, corn, coffee, cattle, and livestock. So these are the picture of San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm. On November 1, 1905, Recognition Act number 1407 was approved, creating the Bureau of Prisons under the Department of Commerce and Police, integrating the old Bilibid Prison, San Ramon Penal Colony, and Ihuaig Penal. The Philippine Coconut Authority took over management of the coconut farm from San Ramon. In 1995, Congresswoman Maria Clara Lobregat proposed the transfer of San Ramon Prison to Bangyao Town in the mountainous area of Zamboanga to give way to a special economic zone. So let's proceed to number 3, Ihuaig Penal Colony. Ihuaig Penal Colony. This facility was established during the American occupation. It was, however, during the Spanish regime that Puerto Princesa was designated as a place where offenders sentenced to banishment were exiled, as a specific areas of Puerto Princesa was selected as the site for a correctional facility. The American military carved out a prison facility in the rainforest of Puerto Princesa. The institution had for its first superintendent Lt. George Wolf, a member of U.S. Expeditionary Force, who later became the first prison director. So, the Ihuaig Prison and Penal Farm is one of the most popular prison in the Philippines. It was established in 1902 by the United States for the Filipino prisoners who had fought with the American during their colonization in the Philippines. In 1955, Administrative Order Number 20 was promulgated by the President and implemented by the Secretary of Justice and Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources. This order allowed the distribution of colony lands for cultivation by deserving colonies. The order also contained a list of qualifications for colonies who wished to apply for a lot to cultivate. The conditions for the settler stay in land, loan requirements, and marketing of the settler produced lots granted did not exceed 6 hectares. So, correctional institution for women. In a report dated January 22, 1959, submitted to a committee created by Administrative Order Number 2887 by the President of the Philippines, it was noted that before a separate building was constructed especially for women prisoners, all female convicts were confined at the Old Bilibid prison on Ascarga, Santa Manila. The male prisoners were confined in dormitories near the women's quarters. The Correctional Institution for Women, or CIW, is a women prison located in Mandaluyong Metro, Manila, Philippines. The prison is operated by the Bureau of Correction. The prison first opened on 18 hectare for 24-hour cell property on February 14, 1931. Previously, women were held at Old Bilibid Prison. When the Philippines had the death penalty, female inmates condemned to death were held at CIW. So these are the CIW, or the Correctional Institution for Women. On February 14, 1931, the women prisoners were transferred from the Old Bilibid prison to the building especially constructed for them. Its old name, Women's Prison, was changed to Correctional Institution for Women, or CIW. This was in keeping with emerging trends in penology, which emphasized correction rather than punishment. Convicts were brought back into the social mainstream and adjusted and rehabilitated with a better outlook in life. After the CIW resumed its normal operation. Weekly catechism classes were introduced, a dental clinic was built, local telephones were installed in the guard quarters, the Bureau of Public Works made major repairs on the main building, and workshop on infirmary constructed for the inmates' use. So, Davao Penal Colony. The Davao Penal Colony is the first penal settlement founded and organized under Filipino administration. The settlement, which originally had an area of approximately 30,000 hectares in the districts of Panabo and Tagum, Davao del Norte, was formally established on January 21, 1932 by virtue of Act No. 3732. This act authorized the Governor General to lease or sell the lands, buildings, and improvements in San Ramon Prison, Iwahig Penal Colony. It is also granted authority to the Secretary of Justice to establish a new prison and penal colony in a suitable public land. So in 1942, as a Japanese troops closed in on the colony, many quarters simple ran away and many prisoners escaped during the confusion. During the Japanese occupation period, it was taken over by the Japanese army as a prisoners of war camp. So the Sablayan prison and penal farm nearer to Manila than other penal colonies. The Sablayan Penal Colony is located in Occidental Mindoro and relatively new, established on September 26, 1954 by virtue of Presidential Proclamation No. 72. The penal colony has a total land area of approximately 16,190 hectares. So, unlike any other or the usual penal colony, the prisoners here are almost enjoying their freedom instead of being locked down inside concrete structures with metal bars. They can roam around the area without so much restriction. Excuse me. They also made to till the land area so as to have their supply of at least basic food requirements for during their stay. So this is the picture of Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm. So let's proceed to the Leyte Regional Prison. The Leyte Regional Prison situated in Abuyog, Southern Leyte was established a year after the declaration of martial law in 1972 by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 28, while its plantilla and institutional plan were almost ideal, lack of funds made the prison unable to realize its full potential, and its facilities are often below par compared with those of other established penal farms. Leyte Regional Prison, found in Abuyog, Leyte, established on January 16, 1973 under the Proclamation 1101 during the martial law, with the aim of regionalizing prison in the country. The last penal facility to be built by the Bureau of Prison, the youngest among the Bureau of Corrections Penal Code. It is also composed of two communities and the open community. Prisoners who are in the enclosed community are those who have belong to the medium and maximum security, while prisoners who are in the open community belong to the minimum security. So these are the photos of Leyte Regional Prison. So provincial justice system. When a crime is committed with malice all forethought, this means the crime was premeditated and a perpetrator held malice for the victim. On the other hand, provincial jail are under the supervision and control of the provincial government. It appears that provincial jails, which are directly under the supervision and control of the provincial government, have better facilities and are better managed compared to that of the city and municipal jail. Four classes of prisoners. First is insular or national prisoners, one who is sentenced to a prison term of 3 years and 1 day to death. Two is provincial prisoners, one who is sentenced to a prison term of 6 months and 1 day to 3 years. Three city prisoners, one who is sentenced to a prison term of 1 day to 3 years. And four is municipal prisoners, one who is sentenced to a prison term of 1 day to 6 months. Three types of detainees. Those first is those undergoing investigation, second is those awaiting or undergoing trial, and those awaiting final judgment. So BPP, Board of Pardons and Parole. The BPP provides invaluable assistance to the President in exercising the power of executive clemency. 24. It is exercised with the objective of preventing a miscarriage of justice or correcting a manifest injustice. Executive clemency may be exercised through a reprieve, absolute pardon, conditional pardon, or commutation of sentence. A public attorney's office (PAO) is attached agency of the Department of Justice which provides indigent litigants free legal assistance, and the PAO should be an independent and autonomous office but attached to the Department of Justice in accordance with Section 38, Chapter 7 Book 6 of this Code for purpose of policy and program coordination. So the Public Attorney's Office (PAO) shall be the principal law office of the government in attending free legal assistance to indigent persons in criminal, civil, labor, administrative, and other quasi-judicial case. Power and functions. The Public Attorney's Office shall independently discharge its mandate to render free or charge legal representations, assistance, and counseling to indigent persons in criminal, civil, labor, administrative, and other quasi-judicial cases. Mission. The Public Attorney Office exists to provide the indigent intelligence that oppressed, marginalized, and underprivileged member of the society free access to courts, judicial, and quasi-judicial justice by rendering legal service, counseling, and assistance in consonance with the constitutional mandate that free access to courts shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty, in order to ensure the rule of law, truth, and social justice as components of the country's sustainable developments. And the vision of PAO is a government agency that is good-centered and dynamic bureaucracy that is responsive to the overgrowth legal needs of indigents and oppressed, led by highly competent, world-class, development-oriented, honest, dedicated, and nationalistic leaders and lawyers. Office mandate to provide human safekeeping and basic development of all municipal and provincial prisoners. Mission. The Office of the Provincial Warden shall not promote safety and total detainment and rehabilitation, restorations of detainees under its custody, and the vision and intentional managed by God-centered and good professionals and trained personnel to serve as the principal catalyst for rehabilitation and restoration that leads to reformations of the social, physical, and spiritual aspects of persons being detained, to develop as law-abiding citizens for eventual reintegration into the mainstream of society. And the goals and objectives. Office of the Provincial Warden is committed to carry out effective implementation of all programs, projects, and activities relating to jail, detainment, and rehabilitation of prisoners being sentenced and detained or held for trial by the Court of Justice. So, mandates and function of Bgmp. Bgmp is mandated to direct, supervise, and control the administration and operation of all district, city, and municipal jails nationwide, with front tasks of safekeeping and development of PDL. So Bgmp is an agency under the watch of the ILG, which handles the district, city, and municipal jails where person deprived of liberty. Function. In line with its mission, the Jail Bureau individuals perform the following functions. First is formulate policies and guidelines in the administration of all district, city, and municipal jail nationwide. Two is implement strong security measures for the control of PDL. Third is provide for the basic needs of PDL. 4 is conduct activities for the development of PDL. 5th is improve jails facilities. 6. Promote the general welfare and development of personnel. So let's proceed in principle of Bgmp. First is the obligation of jail authorities to confine offenders, safety, and provide the rehabilitative programs that will negate criminal tendencies and restore their positive values to make them productive and law-abiding citizens. So one of the principles of Bgmp or the jail authorities is to confine offenders' safety and provide the rehabilitative programs, like for example is mass and planting and etc. And give an adult treatment. So 2 is no procedure or system of correction shall deprive any offenders of hope for his ultimate return to the fold of the law and full membership in society. unless provided otherwise, any person accused of a criminal offense shall be presumed innocent, and his rights as a free citizen shall be respected except for such indispensable deterrence during his confinement in the interest of justice and public safety. So offenders are human beings entitled of the same basic rights and privilege enjoyed by the citizen in a free society, except that the exercise of these rights are limited or controlled for security reasons. So 7. No jail personnel should be abusive, insulting, indecent language on the offenders. And 8 is no jail personnel shall use unnecessary force on offenders except for legitimate self-defense or in case for attempted active and passive physical resistance to a lawful order. 9 is no penalty shall be imposed upon any offenders for violations of rules, regulation unless on accordance with duly approved disciplinary procedure. 10 is penalties to be imposed shall not be cruel, inhuman, or degrading, and no physical punishment shall be employed as a correctional measure. 11 is members of custodial force must understand that offenders need treatment and counseling, and the primary purpose of confinement is for safekeeping and rehabilitation. And number 12 is when conducting routinary custodial guarding, the ratio of 1:7 or 1 guard for every 7 offenders shall be observed. Third is when the offender is in transit, the ratio of 1 and 1+1 for every offender shall be observed in case of high-risk offender that demands extra precautions. Additional guards shall be employed. This mining level shall be national in scope for effective jail administration. So that's all my report. Thank you and God bless.